Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday, the 29th of August. So, yesterday's bank holiday in the UK, well, brought relatively modest moves in the markets yesterday, but it was a continuation on from Friday's much bigger move in the euro here. Uh, we are certainly pushing up at the moment, it would appear, towards the monthly R1. Now, just coming down the time frames here. What have we got? Well, there was certainly some divergence. In fact, a bit of double divergence into the weekly R1 that's just below the monthly R1 here. Now we've got an untouched weekly pivot. Whether that will be hit early this week or at all this week is another question. At the moment, the euro looks particularly strong, and as I say, looks strong, but is showing signs of divergence, which well, that gives us the potential for it to roll over. Looking at the shorter time frame here, well, we've already hit the daily pivot. We're pretty close again to the there's a weekly R1, daily R1, and monthly R1 within a relatively short range here. We'll just see how it reacts this morning. Really, it's not an easy day to trade after it's already sort of moved for me. Broken yesterday's highs. It's had a retrace already, unless it starts rolling over. Target wise, we could find a bit of resistance, although the ranges are pretty tight, so we'll see. But at the moment, the technically, albeit we've got divergences, there is the potential for it to continue pushing up there. Cable, I should say, I haven't got an entry picture yet for the euro, which is making it sort of difficult to see where it's going to go at the moment. Now, the cable also had a bit of a push up yesterday. It's just running into the underside of the daily 50 here. Again, we've got a weekly pivot untouched below, which, well, if we see anything coming through, again, we've got sort of the same picture, the divergences running through these markets. I was just looking, there was a bit of gap after Friday, but that has got filled. At the moment, well, still, again, the same as euro in terms of the trend is certainly up here. There is potential weakness. They've both got weekly pivots below. How would I try and get into a trade here? This one hasn't. I don't think we've seen the daily pivot touch here in either. So we have got the sort of the daily pivot untouched below on cable. I'd have to, if looking on the short side, we'll probably have to at least see the 60-minute 8 broken. The only problem is we've got the 21s, which, okay, they've been tested before, but could provide support there on any retrace back towards at least the daily pivot. As I say, there is the weekly pivot. It just may be that this week with the events of last week, we may just not, and the concern throughout the markets, we may just see the pound euro running up. Dollar yen, I should say the dollar itself may be being partially hit by obviously the hurricane and the situation in the US at the moment. Dollar yen, well, it did finally break those prior lows there, but it's only come back to another support level of the previous prior lows from back in April. So we've broken the lows. It's doing a little bit of reversal. Maybe again, it's well, it's difficult to see at this juncture. I'm not finding. I mean, it's broken a trend that was sitting there, but not particularly easy. It's just come short of the daily pivot there. And well, we've seen a bit of a retracement back actually from the 21 moving average there, just pulling back now. We've already been over the weekly pivots. There's no big pull or draw from that. If we see the strength of these markets continue, I'd expect the yen possibly to go back and retest those prior lows in more solid market movement. And at the moment, it's been pretty thin with the London markets being closed, and some of the big banks, main banks, are trading through the London markets. The big volumes come through the London market. So some of these moves they occur, and they may not have a lot of strength behind them. Seeing the divergences appear. So nothing there particularly. Aussie dollar's held on. It's pushed up a bit in the last couple of days. Friday, obviously the news affecting the Aussie dollar less. It does look like from where it's sitting here may have a little bit more upside in what's going on. Although this huge 4-hourly bar bearish engulfing didn't look particularly good, it's immediately put a bullish Harami in next to it. If we can break the upside of that, perhaps we've got some further upside to be had. Weekly pivots above, so that's a potential draw. But once again, it's run into its hourly 21. In fact, combined with the 60-minute 50 there as well, so a bit of resistance sitting there in the short term. May just push on through there at some point, and it's not to say it will stop at the daily pivot, but there's not a lot of points towards it in terms of any sort of target. Difficult day really with the price action we've seen before. As I said, if it breaks the prior highs there of that bullish Harami, well, that would see us potentially move back towards the R1 sort of zone. Finally, Canadian dollar. Now we should be seeing, I'm just going to flick across to oil. Oil should be pushing up a little bit here. Hasn't particularly pushed up that much. In fact, it's been rolling off, and I would have expected with the flooding in the US and the weather conditions, there's expectation that the oil production will be hit, but it's not really affecting the world oil markets by the looks of things. So Canadian dollar, it's well, selling off a little bit at the moment. Once again, that sort of bigger trend has always been to the lower side. It did come back. It's hit the weekly pivot, but and daily pivots ticked off there as well through the Asian session. Maybe a break of this 34 properly. May see it come down towards the S1. Maybe Friday's lows. Monday's lows rather. Back towards that sort of zone. Certainly the bodies of those lows may be a possibility. So a bit of a tricky day. I'm looking through these markets. I mean, this is possibly one of the simpler simple trades, potentially on a sell and a retrace, but need to see it broken through this 34 ideally. So a retrace after 34 may give me something, but when I'm flicking through these markets, they're not particularly easy to be working out. There are, as I say, there are divergences on the euro, the pound. They've got divergences. They've got weekly pivots below. The pound has in fact got a daily pivot below that. Well, so any sort of weakness may give us an opportunity, but the actual trend is still solidly up on both of these now, on these intermediate timeframes at least. The euro certainly beyond the intermediate timeframe. So it may be one of those sit and watch for a while. Have a great day. Bye for now.